Hey guys, this is Patrick Hoover again with Scent Control Outdoors. I thought I'd tell you a pretty cool story about this deer here. Let me show it to you here. I killed this deer up in Ohio a few years ago. You know, the story behind this deer is what makes it so, that's why I want to talk about it. It's so impressive and so much fun. I went through so much work to earn this deer. I had purchased a new piece of land in Ohio, and I went in there and I did all kinds of soil samples on my soil so I could plant food plots. And, had lime brought in, changed the pH. I did all this work and planted this beautiful giant food plot. And I hung tree stands in there and I prepped it and got it all ready. And I'd hunted and I'd put cameras in there and I'd put so much time in it. And I seeing deer consistently all the time. And, when that first frost comes and the sugar content comes up in your food plot and all your plants, you start bringing in more deer. I had deer coming in nonstop, but I still didn't have any big bucks. So I called my wife and I said, you know what? I'm going to come home a few days. I was like, I don't have nothing on camera. It's November the 2nd. I'm going to try hunting somewhere else. So I come back. I went to Logan, West Virginia. I was putting cameras out down there, and checking my cameras there. And the whole time I'm like, man, I got this big food plot. I got all these does in there. I saw a little rutting activity, but not a lot. So I told my wife, I said, man, I got to have something big in there. And there's got to be something comes cruising through there and stays since I have the food source now. So about 3 days went by, maybe 4 days, and I said, I got to go back. So I went back. I pulled my cameras. There's nothing. And I pull my cameras always around noon. The reason for that is the deer may be in there at morning and they may be in there that evening. So you don't want to pull your cameras early morning or late evening because you're going to bump out your deer. So I covered my scent up. I pulled my cameras. I was all excited. I couldn't wait to check them. I'm checking them and I'm like, oh, I got to have something big probably moving here by now. And I was got all this food and there's still nothing on camera. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back and, I'm going to get something to eat and maybe I'll, climb up and glass some of these fields and see if there's any coming in from a distance. I don't want to booger these deer up. So before hunting there, I was like, I'm just going to glass it. So that evening, I get up there and I'm glassing this field. And all of a sudden, I see all these deer pouring in. There's deer after deer after deer after deer. The next thing, I got like 20-some deer in this big food plot that I planted. It had done so well. The deer just tearing it all to pieces. And I'm like so excited. Still no big bucks. But about an hour before dark, it gets awesome. I'm sitting there watching these deer. The next thing I know, I see this thing. There's a little rise at the end of my food plot that goes into a big old thicket back here. And over that rise, there's some broom sage at the end past my food plot. And I seen these horns come through that broom sage. And I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, it looks like a pretty good one. So I'm looking and I'm watching. He comes out in that field. And he starts bumping does and he's chasing them does all over that field. And man, my heart's going a million mile an hour. And I'm excited now because all my work had paid off. Even though he just showed up. He just come in there. He just found my food plot. He stopped, ate some of the Nebraskas and turnips and radishes and everything I had planted. He ate a little bit and then ran those. Ate a little bit and ran those. I watched that deer until after dark. And it was like, I think it was close to a full moon that night. And there was a rise above my food plot in this old growed up field. And I watched him go up on that rise and watched him bumping a doe. And all of a sudden I got there. The coolest thing is he bed down on the top of that rise and I could skylight him. And by me, my skylighting, there's nothing behind him just because he was on the top of that mound. And the moon was full moon and I could see him laying up there. And I watched him in the binoculars moving his head around, watching them does. And then all of a sudden I seen a little buck just from the moonlight coming across the top of that rise on that field and coming towards the does. And he jumps up and runs them does off. And it was the coolest, that's why I want to tell the story, because it was the coolest story ever to watch this deer, even after dark in the moonlight, on a rise and skylight him for probably an hour. And I was like, man, I can't move. I can't get back. I can't go anywhere close to this area because I want to booger it up. Because now I'm thinking in my mind, where am I going to hang my tree stand tomorrow? Where did he consistently come by? So I already had 2 stands hung, ready for this. I had one real close to the food plot to hunt the deer coming in. I had another one right over the hill from on a flat that all these deer would usually, it was like a transition area. They'd funnel through to get to my food plot. So I was like, I'm going to hunt that transition area where they all funnel through to get the food plot because I knew he'd come from that area somewhere for sure. So I get set up. The next day, I'm all there and I'm set up. And I climb in that tree stand. I get in that tree stand at 12 o'clock noon. 12 o'clock sharp, I'm in that tree stand. So I'm hunting and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. I got deer funneling through consistently, a lot of bucks. I got does coming in, and I mean, the whole time I'm all excited. I'm on the edge, like, oh man, you know, he may show up. So I'm watching him, and I don't see anything but small bucks and does. And then all of a sudden I hear something come running. And here comes a deer comes running off the hillside. And I knew there was a buck chasing him. And I heard brrr. And next thing I know, this buck here comes running, that doe runs right down the hill, right past me. Well, I'm trying to get a shot, and I couldn't get him to stop. And I was like, meh. And he wouldn't stop. And he kept on chasing does. The next thing I know, he comes by me again, and I couldn't get a shot the second time. So, but the good thing is, what I noticed is he went by this walnut tree 2 times in a row. Both times he took a trail by this old giant walnut tree on the side of my food plot. So when he exited my food plot and entered my food plot, it seemed like he always went in and came out by this big walnut tree. So now, this is the second time I've seen this deer. I'm like, tomorrow, I'm gonna go pull a stand somewhere else, and pull a tree stand somewhere else, and I'm gonna hang it in that walnut tree. So the next day, I get up, and I didn't hunt that morning, because I knew that if I went down there and went in the woods early, and he's down there on a hot doe, and that doe was bedded real close to there when I left after dark. So I knew she was in the area. I could hear him after dark chasing that doe way down in the brush. So I knew then that I'd take a chance of bumping her or him before dark, trying to get in that tree stand. So I did not want to take a chance of bumping him out. I said, well, I'll just wait. I said, I'll stay in bed. I'll wait. I'll get up tomorrow morning. I'll sleep in. I'll go pull a tree stand, and I'll move it in that walnut tree. So the next day, I get up. I go pull a tree stand. I put the tree stand. I pulled a tree stand probably at another farm. It was at my dad's farm, actually, at about like 10:30. And by probably 11:30, I mean, I was flying. I get back here. I'm putting climbing sticks on the tree, and I'm climbing up the tree, hanging it, get it hung. It's ready to rock and roll. Went back, took a shower, got scent free again. And, you know, got ready, got prepped, got all my stuff gathered up, got my everything I needed. So I got it all ready, and I'm all excited. I'm walking down there. I get that tree stand at 12:40, I think, maybe 12:45. As soon as I sat down that tree stand, I pulled my bow up. And I heard something. I looked down, and it's perfect weather too, by the way. It was real cold that day. And I pulled my bow up, and I heard something down the holler to my left. And here come 3 does. And I just now got my bow pulled up. So I hurried up and fumbling around, get all my other stuff ready. All them does come up. They're in their feeding on the food plot. It's not even 1 o'clock yet. I'm like, man, they're moving early in the day. Temperature's probably about maybe 40 degrees. So it was really good temperatures. It's November 11th, too. That's my dad's birthday, too. So it was really cool. So I was there already, excited. These deer funneling in. And the whole time, my mindset is like, I was on the edge. I was nervous because I knew that 2 days in a row, this deer has went by this walnut tree. He's been in his food plot 2 days in a row, and I didn't bring him up, and he never knew I was in here. So I knew there was good odds of me seeing him again. As the time went on and the afternoon kept on going, there's more and more deer showing up. An hour before dark is when I've seen him 2 days in a row. By then, I had 22 does and 7 different bucks in this food plot. They're chasing does, bumping does, running all over the place. And man, I'm a nervous wreck. I'm probably already shaking, and I hadn't seen this big thing, but I knew with this much activity and this many does in here, and this many bucks running these does, he's probably going to show up. About that time, it's an hour before dark. I was watching what time was it, and I was like, man, every day consistently he's been here at this time. I look, and there's a rise that he's come over every time. Where's old broom sage I was telling you about that rise. I look, I keep on looking back, and all of a sudden I look back here, and he's standing there. I was like, oh man, there he is. So I get my bow ready, hook my release on there, and I'm watching him, and I'm like, man, what's he gonna do? You know, I was like, I hope he comes by this walnut tree again so I get a shot. He comes across that rise, comes running. I'm talking grunting and just running like that with his front legs, just stomping out there and chasing bucks all over the food plot. Man, they're going crazy. Deer running everywhere. And I was like, man, please stop where I get a shot at you. Don't run by me again. Let me get a shot. He comes running by. And thank God, the doe that he was running, that he chased into that food plot, she had stopped and squatted to pee. And she was 30 yards in front of me. And I knew then, if she squatted to pee, he's going to stop. He's going to sniff where she squatted and peed. He ran straight down there after he chased them little bucks out the food plot. Stopped right where she peed. Sniffed the ground. I drew back full draw. He's broadside, barely quartering away from me. I put the pin behind the shoulder. I shot. Man, I hit him dead behind the shoulder. He jumps, takes off running up the hill, and he went back over that rise to where he come from. A lot of big bucks I've seen will do that because they knew it was safe where they come from. And he run back over that rise. My nerves are a hot mess because when he got top of that rise, he'd go down. But I knew, but he'd only run 50 yards top of that rise. And as soon as you go to the rise, I couldn't see him. But I was afraid to push him. When in doubt, back out, they always say. So I was like, I better just wait. I said, I'll give him tonight. Tonight's going to be like 17 degrees that night or 16. It's a really cold evening. I said, I'll wait. I went back to my cabin, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just nervous or mess. I said, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I said, I knew that I'd shot one of the biggest deer that I'd shot with a bow and arrow. And so I just tore up. All night, I laid there awake, looking at the ceiling, waiting to see what time it was. Oh, man, I can't wait till it gets daylight. I'm going to sneak over and see if he's... I know he's laying there, but I don't want to bump him up. So I just kept on just a mess. So I'm sitting there at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting there watching the news, and like, okay, I'll eat some breakfast, drink some coffee, and as soon as it gets daylight, I'm out of here. So daylight cracked. I go over there where I seen him go over the rise, and there's blood everywhere. So I knew I had a fatal hit on. I knew I hit him right. As soon as I walked over that rise where I could barely see it rise, 20 yards on the other side of that little rise, daggone that thing didn't lay there. I was like, yes, I got him. So I take off running down there. I'm all excited. I got my boat. I was like, oh my gosh, I shot one of the biggest deer that I've shot. And I run down there, and that thing's laying there. I hit him right behind his shoulder, mid-body, double lunged him. Fatal hits, perfect. He's laying there, dead or door down. I reach over, and I grab the horns of that thing, and I pick that thing up, and I realize the mass on that thing and how thick he was. And he had 3 brow tines here, and his beams was... I think that his beams on this deer ended up being like 28 inches. And you could see the long beams on that deer. He just had the beams. He had the mass. I mean, he just had everything I could possibly want out of a deer. And, I was so excited to pick him up. I could not wait to call everybody and send pictures and tell my wife and everyone that, hey, I'd killed that big deer. I've seen 2 days in a row. I couldn't wait to get down there, get him loaded up, and take him home. Because just about to hunt a deer that quality, because everyone knows that knows me, I'm a big scent control guy. I'm big on, scent control and food plots. And all year, 365 days a year, I live it. I live for hunting. I'm obsessed with it. And everyone that knows me knows I'm ate up with it. And by the way, here starting soon, I am going to have a series on scent control. Because what killed this deer was scent control. The wind was wrong on this deer. The wind had switched. We just had like a north wind, and the wind ended up switching on me that night, and I was scared to death because the wind was blowing across half the food plot, and I'm on pins and needles, like, should I just climb a tree stand? The wind's getting long. And I was like, well, as much as I do in scent control, I hope I could beat their nose. Maybe, it's all about scent control and covering your scent up. You never can completely get rid of it, but you can make the deer think you're 200 or 300 yards away. There's ways to beat their nose, and thank God it worked, because I had, counting him, had 23 different deer at one time in a food plot, and the wind was blowing across half the food plot. So coming soon, I'm working on it now. I'm gonna have a series of how to cover your scent up, a scent control video that's going to start from the beginning, before hunting season even starts, how to prep and get ready for it, all the way through even what you can eat to change your scent in your body, from diet to all the way to the end of when you're done hunting. I'm going to cover everything. So God bless you guys. Please like, subscribe, and come back and watch our YouTube, because we're going to have some awesome stuff coming.